Hey everybody, welcome back to Carbon's DIY Garage. If you've been following this channel, you know that one of the many issues I've been having with this Jeep from the very beginning that I've owned it is that the turn signals do not turn off on their own after you complete a turn. If you're not following this channel and you haven't seen any of my previous videos, including replacing the clock spring to try to fix this issue, you should go subscribe to the channel. So I will wait while you go do that. Okay, welcome back. So now what I have done is I've replaced the clock spring, hoping that that would fix the problem with my turn signals. It did not. Next, I went, and it's a little bit difficult access, but I went and found the blinker fluid reservoir. I filled that up. It was a little bit low, and that didn't fix my problem either. But I didn't record doing that. It was late at night, so I'm going to make a video later on how to top off your blinker fluid. One video I found for a later model Jeep than TJ than I have was actually replacing the turn signal switch because it actually can break. And that could be the reason I'm having the problem.
Quick sidebar for everybody. Do you know when TJs first started coming off the line? I think 97 was the first model year, and this Jeep was born in June of 96. Is this one of the first few to come off the line? Does that make this worth more? Let me know in the comments.
Anyway, I've already taken the switch out once to see if it looked like it was actually broken, and it does. So I'm going to show you how to remove the switch and replace it. And it's pretty straightforward, and I'll put a link in the description of the video for the part that I got off of eBay. And I think this 97 TJ might be a little bit different in how it's mounted than some of the older model TJs, but I think more or less it's all about the same. So let's go ahead and knock this out. Getting any kind of video in here in the cab is a challenge because it's not a whole lot of space to work with, so hopefully the video quality works out okay. The first thing I need to do is take off this top plastic shroud or a cowl. Maybe I'll call it a cowl. It sounds cooler, fancier. But anyway, this top plastic piece needs to come off. There's two screws right up here, and then if your TJ is not like mine, you actually have a third screw in the back, but mine's not there, so I just have these two screws to remove. If you have a tilt column, tilt the column down and make life easier. And then you can just lift this up off of your four-way flashers, and I have to wiggle the plastic around the tilt lever, and then it kind of just wiggles and shifts out this way. With the top cowl out of the way, in my clock spring video I showed how you can replace the clock spring without removing the bottom shroud or cowl, but for doing the turn signal you probably could do it, but I don't really want to break anything with this plastic, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the ignition cylinder. So just turn it to accessory or on position, and of course I disconnect the battery terminal so that the Jeep doesn't actually turn on when I do this. One thing I've become really proficient at in doing all this work on TDSR is disconnecting the battery and taking the air box off the top of the engine. But anyway, turn this to on, and then there's a hole in the bottom of the plastic. You just push up with the screwdriver or something small to release the cylinder, and you wiggle it out. Just like that. And you can see the plastic has not had a happy life for all the times that things have been taken in and out of this thing. All right, so here's our very beautiful brand new clock spring, and there are 3 fasteners we have to remove. Try not to get you sick. There's a screw here, screw here, where is it? Right there, and then a screw underneath, right here. And those 3 screws, just take those out, and then this protective cover that holds everything in place can come loose. Just to show you, this is a little metal frame that's got a rubber gasket over it, and that's what it looks like when you pull it out. If you remember from the video that I did on fixing the tilt shift lever, this little bicycle brake type cable can actually pop out of the lever, and it makes it a lot easier to get access to the connectors for this blinker switch. I found that it's easier to fish the switch out of the steering column first. You just lift it up and then do some wiggling to get it out. And then once it's out, you can disconnect the electrical connectors pretty easily. The top one and bottom one. So let's take a look at the old one versus the new one. First, they look the same, so that's really good. This is the old one, here's the new one. So the old one, this cam gets hit by the clock spring and resets your turn indicator, and there's a spring in here that keeps the cam here in position, but you can see this is just, there's no spring. It gets stuck and it's no good. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason I'm having all my problems. If you go look at the new one, spring is there, it keeps centered, and so I think this is gonna resolve my problem. Being the engineer that I am, of course, I took the top off to see if I could figure out what was wrong with the part or if I could fix it myself. I highly recommend you don't do that because there's a spring in here. As soon as I took the cover off, it went flying. It's in the garage somewhere, I have no idea. So if I didn't have to replace this before, I really do now. But if you can see, there's another spring down here, and I believe this is the spring that goes underneath this plastic and it holds the cam forward, and clearly this cam is not able to do its job anymore. So I think hopefully replacing this part will fix my problem with TDSR and the non-returning blinkers. Installation is just the opposite of removing it, so we'll go ahead and throw it back in and give it a test. Guys, I haven't finished putting it back together yet, but I gotta show you because I'm super excited. So, new blinker, works. If I turn that way, click, it resets. Oh, I'm so excited. It's the small things in life, right? It's getting to be more like a normal vehicle that works the way it's supposed to. One thing I noticed as I'm starting to put this back together, just a little tip, if you remove this bottom kick panel, it might make life just a little bit easier for you. You can go ahead and push the tilt lever completely out of the way, for example, and it might make removing the cowl shrouds a little bit easier too. I didn't do it, it's not mandatory, just something to think about. Success in getting the turn signals working again, resetting again. So if you're having issues with turn signals not resetting, it's possible the clock spring is broken. There are tabs in there that trigger the multifunction switch. It's also possible the multifunction switch itself is broken, which was the case for me. I'll leave a link in the video description for the part that I got off eBay in case it's helpful. Not sure if this is applicable to all model years of TJ. I think it might be, but don't take my word for it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and there's a lot more projects to come with TDSR as I continue to rebuild it from what previous owner left me and making it an awesome ride. So please subscribe to the channel to follow along. Until the next project, we'll see you next time. Have a good one. All right, guys, moment of truth. Hazard lights work. Right turn, left turn works. Resets. Right turn works. Resets. Fantastic.